Right, a lot of people have been asking for a drum tutorial, so here it is. What I'm going to do is make a full drum pattern from start to finish and go through any tips and tricks that I have along the way. This video is going to focus on trap drums, so let me know in the comments if there's any other genres that you'd like to see me cover. Okay, so I almost always start with my hi-hat so I don't have to listen to that annoying click sound. All I'm going to do here is right click the channel and then select fill each 8 steps. I did this because I then like to come into the piano roll and copy all of these notes across where I can then lower the velocities to create some bounce. Because I'm working at quite a high BPM, I'm just going to select all of the notes and repeat the same thing. After I've got this basic pattern down, I then experiment with rolls and different rhythms. To make my rolls, I'll just choose the grid size that I want and then use the paintbrush to paint them in. But you can also place a longer note and press Alt and U to bring up the chopper tool. Changing the grid size for different rolls will keep the pattern interesting, and randomizing things like velocity and panning will make the pattern more bouncy. If you like the sound of the melody that I'm using, then you can get it for free in the 2K loop kit. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Alright, next I want to add my open hi-hat. And really where you place this is up to you. I hear some beats that I've got open hi-hats on the first downbeat, and then I hear some where the open hats are a lot more off the grid. I just like to hit play and imagine where I can hear them coming in and go from there. Now that my hi-hats are down, here's where I'll be adding my clap or snare. To start off with, I'm just going to place a note on the third beat of each bar. Then for the second half, I like to add some extra snare hits so there's a bit of a call and response feel. Next, I'm going to fill some of these pockets of space by using percussion. This could be shakers, bongos, wood sounds, pretty much anything, so just get creative with the sounds that you use. As for placement, you want to use percussion to fill spaces that are empty, but you also want them to complement your other instruments. I usually place my perks just before or after things like the snare or the open hat. All that's left to add now is the kick pattern. What I'll usually do is make the 808 before the kick so they can share the same pattern. I've got a simple 808 already in the channel rack, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it into my kick. Then inside the piano roll, I can press Alt and K to bring up the transposer window. Inside here, make sure only C5 is selected and click accept, and all of those 808 notes have now been moved to C. So now that I've got all these drum elements down, I need to go ahead and level them. I find the easiest way to do this is to start with the most important instruments, so I'm going to be starting with the kick and 808 and then working through the rest of the sounds. I don't really like to use numbers when mixing, but I do always like to set my kick to around -6 so I can use that as a reference point to level the rest of the sounds off. And as long as I'm not doing any stereo separation with my 808 or kick, then I'm going to be putting them both into mono. The 808 is going to be leveled next, but first I want to beef it up with some distortion. The plugin that I use is Decapitator, and I just go to the beefy preset and then mess with the drive and mix knobs until it sounds how I want. Now I can level this 808 against the kick till it's sitting right. Once I'm happy with the level of the 808, I'll then use some volume ducking to let the transient of the kick punch through. For this, I'll use Shaperbox, but you can use any plugin that supports sidechaining from an audio source. To do this in Shaperbox, you're first going to want to make sure that you got your kick track selected. Next, come down to this button below the 808 track, right click it and select sidechain to this track. Now back inside Shaperbox, you can come into the wrapper settings, and inside the processing tab, you can set the sidechain source to the kick. All I need to do now is set audio as the sidechain trigger, and you'll see the waveform from the kick appear inside Shaperbox. This can then be used to draw in the curve, which is going to duck the 808 every time the kick is triggered. Next, I'm going to be leveling the snare. For trap beats, I like to have my snare hitting just below my kick and 808. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit for now because I want to do something with the EQ first. Every clap or snare is going to have a frequency that gives it its snap. I'm going to be finding that frequency in my EQ and just boosting it a little bit. My open and close hats are going to be a little quieter, and I'll now start using panning to give the main instruments the space they need. I'm going to bring the closed hat over to the left a bit and then take the open hat over to the right. I like to add chorus to my hi-hats, and the plugin that I use is the June 6. I'll usually go with this deep chorus preset and then take the mix to somewhere around 60 or 70%. And the last thing I need to level are my perks. My template setup so all of the perks go to the percussion bus, where I've just got a really light Valhalla vintage verb. So yeah, that is how I program and mix my drums. Obviously, this is just how I make trap drums, so if there's any other genres you'd like to see, then drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new from it, then make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave, and if you're new to the channel, then do me a favour and hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to know how I make emotional beats, then I'll leave a link to that video up here, then I'll just leave a random video from the channel down here. Big shout out to anybody still here at the end of the video. I've been Era, thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully catch you all in the next one.